Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Damage Report. I am Zoran Gavoyich, all alone here, just left with my setup from when Addison and I streamed, hooked on a feeling. I don't know what happened to Ben. We went to Summer Game Fest this week, and I lost track of him there, and we never saw him again. Ugh. But yeah, it's gonna be a good news stream today. I really don't want to do this alone, and I don't know if there was any way that I
Then
can.
it's a good thing that I'm here.
I was vamping. I didn't know if there was a cue line that I was missing to get you to come over here.
I was just waiting to see, like, to kind of see what you did.
Yeah.
You also you tipped it a lot, I feel like, with you being like, I'm just here with the setup from Addison.
I don't know you just came up with this bit, and I was trying things, and I was trying to explain away why there's two mics and a chair sitting next to me, because I'm not reframing this.
The indicator of a good bit is explaining.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All good bits need to be explained. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Excited to be back here for another damage report. And yes, we're in the house together this time because we're gonna be recording a little podcast after this too, which is gonna be exciting.
So you're like, get here early, and I was like, I guess.
Yeah, we'll get here early.
I guess.
All the highs and from the chat, we've got Banana Milk and Liam and Eva. Or no, is that Ava? That's Ava. Sorry.
Wow.
Bad Bye and Catherine Pugh. Well, I'm reading things very quickly, and that's how I would read it. Joe Cook and Rachy Devil. Hey, Ben and Uncle Zoran. Yeah, you don't have a family name. You're just Ben.
I'm just Ben.
You're just Ben. But now we've got Auntie Addison.
I'm thrilled that Addison gets the aunt role. I feel like that.
I think it fits her
I
very
feel like
well.
It fits her very well.
Yeah. If anyone, a few of you were in the Hooked on You stream. That was very fun. I'm sad that we died. We got locked in a cellar and left without food, but we still got to get some kissing on with the Huntress.
Look, if you get some kissing on, that's all that really matters.
Our big muscle mommy. We were very happy about that. Only technically died once. So there we go. All right, the Summer Game Fest. I always want to say games.
I think I just do say games.
I just like, it's weird to just like, it's all game. There's so many games that it's weird that it's just Game Fest.
Also, some of those games not about the summer.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about Summer Game Fest. So we're gonna dive right in while people are shuffling in here for the morning and pop in with the most horrific news ever. All right, this is not a horror game.
It's not.
But I am so excited about this because...
I mean, the internet's reaction... Some of the internet's reaction is horrifying.
Oh, it is absolutely horrifying the way that the internet has reacted to this, because I did not know that this was fully happening. But this is my friend, Deborah Anwal, who played Kratos' wife, and I was like, that's amazing. She got to do that. And she'd mentioned something about, oh, they might do another game with my character or something like that. But that was years ago. That was when she filmed all her motion capture for it, and now she is getting a full game. It is not a spin-off. It is a true sequel following her character, and the combat looks fantastic. She's paired with Jack Quaid as a gelatinous cube.
It's a lot of weirdly R, and by R I more mean your circle.
Yeah, because I know Jack from 5SF and Dead Meat stuff as well, so I'm like, oh, friends are making games.
You messaged me and you're like, I'm so excited for Deb. I'm so excited for my friend to be in this game. And I went, two of your friends, and then you responded in all caps, I didn't know Jack was the cube.
I didn't. I had no idea. I had just seen her gameplay, and I was watching it without sound. So I'm sure if I'd heard Jack, I would.
That would make sense. Yeah.
Mason White, thank you. This is my gnome stick. Love it. But yeah, so unfortunately, the internet has been
awful,
pretty awful.
I'm not shocked.
Reaction to this, and just people saying terrible things because they're jerks and cannot accept that. Yeah. I mean, she's such a badass. If you knew Deb as a dungeon master, this is her just living out one of the campaigns that she's built. Like being able, like this is what she describes is happening, and to actually see it and be able to play it,
Yeah.
I'm so excited. And the story
And
telling is great in the God of War games.
Oh.
So
one of them.
I liked both of. I mean, I've liked every single one of them.
I didn't like Ragnarok.
Okay.
I
think it wrapped up Kratos' story, so I'm happy to
Sure.
see the next stage.
Yeah, I'm interested in them going into, like, obviously this isn't like huge horror news, so we shouldn't spend too much time on it, but like I am interested in where they're going with this. I think there's also, you know, like there is valid criticism or uncertainty to be had about this as well. I've seen some people be like, it looks like they're trying, and I understand why this is a hard balance for them to strike, of like they're trying to make her play too much like Kratos, so it feels like you're kind of just reskinning Kratos rather than, like, seemingly reskinning Kratos rather than creating like a wholly new character in game and like giving her the due that she deserves if she's a new character with her own story. And that could be a fair criticism depending on like what the game plays like and looks like in the end of the day. But so it's like not that there can't be like uncertainty or like not necessarily being someone's vibe, but a lot of people are also just being shitty about. You're doing something. I'm rubbing on this.
You're rubbing on this, and it's making noise.
My bad. So I'm curious to see.
Yeah, I just seeing this, and you know the standard. Actually, as soon as I saw this, I was like, "Oh man, the internet's gonna be so mean."
Oh yeah.
But then they're greeted with, you know, they're like, "Oh, it's a female protagonist." But then was it Stellar Blade? Blood Rain was announced as well, and everyone's like, "Yeah!" And I'm like, "That's a weirdly over-sexualized, basically naked android."
Fucking Stellar Blade.
The first Stellar Blade was all just like boobs and butt and like cosplaying.
From what I've heard, yes.
Yeah.
No, that chat's never moving on screen. I think we need to get rid of chat on screen.
Is it never moving on screen?
Every time I've been here and we've had a chat running, I see comments start popping up with the chat is frozen.
Okay. I'm sorry. I don't know this system.
No, I know.
Teaching
I'm
myself
sorry. I'm sorry.
OBS.
This isn't targeted at you.
I had to rearrange everything.
This is frustration and technology. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a better way of doing it, and I will research how to do it. 'Cause
anyway,
it's nice.
Let's talk about horror games.
Yes, let us talk about horror games and bump over
I mostly
to
put
that.
this here as a buffer for people to show up.
Well,
Before
thank
we get
you.
Into the,
You read this while I adjust chat.
Sure. Lynchian survival horror game Silver Pines sets fall release date. I wasn't initially going to include this, mostly just because there's like Summer Games Fest was a lot of the Summer Games Fest news was a lot of me having to cull a lot of news, especially news that came out the week before Summer Games Fest, because there's so many big things. But this does have some interesting things going for it. It's a fully rotoscoped, I think is what I said, fully rotoscoped animation, hand painted Metroidvania game.
I'm gonna mute this.
Yeah.
Peggy 16.
Meets up there. Yeah,
it is.
we got that. Which I think is sick as hell. I think maybe I'm a little bit too much of a mark for, hey, we did our video game with traditional animation style. Doesn't that make us cool? And I'm like, yeah. You know what? Your mechanics should be good, but also I'm in. Also, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm in board for stop motion animation and supporting the traditional animation and things. That looks great.
Yeah, it looks cool. I'm
Really
very
well designed.
intrigued.
You lost me at Lynchian, I'll say that. But
You don't like Lynch?
I do not.
No.
I'm just.
But you're from the Midwest.
What does that mean?
I feel like Lynch is very Midwestern in vibe.
But that... No, I have given him many chances and watched many films, and I'm just like, I can't. I'm anything that's dream based that I'm like, did this happen? Did this not happen? I'm out. I'm out.
Did you like Twin Peaks?
I did not watch all of Twin Peaks. I watched the movie.
I mean, the movie rules. I don't understand.
I don't. It's okay. There's certain directors and things out there that people just
No, I
don't,
just don't get it.
like. And
Yeah.
I do not say that Lynch is a bad one. It's just like that is
Yeah,
a
yeah.
genre that I'm like,
Sure,
no, he
sure.
does his thing. He does it well.
I mean, I will say, I think...
I will always love that he said you can't watch cinema on a fucking phone.
Yeah. I mean, I do think also,
Respect
like...
him.
I think Lynchian is often used more to define, like, the tone and, like, visuals.
Yes.
Than it is to define, like, a dream narrative. So I do think, like, unless the visuals of Lynch don't work for you, which is fair, if that's your taste, but I think potentially this is not hitting the things that make you dislike Lynch movies.
Well, it's just Lynchian is basically just used for anything that's Twin Peaks like.
Yeah, it sure
We're
is.
like, oh, we're in a
No, it sure fucking
diner
is.
retro. Yeah,
Yeah.
just like Silent Hill, Twin
Yeah.
Peaks. You know,
Psych Double Spires episode, season 5, season 6.
I Talk Stuff has said, I'm bored, so I'm making a Monster High Jackson Jekyll Holt Hide AMV to waving.
Through a window because I feel it fits them.
All right, I am not in the Monster High world. I know I did do an audition for a Monster High.
Do you
thing
know
once.
Waving Through the Window?
No, what is Waving Through?
Waving Through a Window is from Dear Evan Hansen.
Oh, Dear Evan Hansen.
Tap, tap,
I heard it as a
tap in
name
on the
suddenly.
glass. I mean,
I'm just Jared Hansen. This guy, Jared
Evan
Hansen.
Hansen's a name.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know Dear Evan Hansen. I have been indoctrinated into all musical things because of my wife.
Good for Megan.
Mm-hmm. She's done a lovely job.
What else we got?
I just want to say, if David Lynch had a Critter or Tremors style monster in his film, Zoran would love it. It's just
That's true.
I will say Dune. I enjoy Dune, but it's ridiculous. All right, next up,
He did do Dune.
he did do Dune.
Yeah.
This is Amazon.
I don't know why this is here. I didn't do this. What'd you
Let's
do?
talk about Mentos gum and the chewy mints. Fresh goes better. Mentos, fresh and full of life.
Now,
Yes.
you talked about this game.
Yes. I'm so excited for
I
this.
hadn't heard about it, and then you mentioned it, and then I saw this article. So,
Yep.
you, please.
So it's a party game called Hands Over, which is doing horror versions of kind of. There used to be in like the 90s, there were games that would injure you that were like very specific thing. Like I remember I had an Audrey 2 plant game where you would put marbles in the mouth of the Audrey plant, and if you put too many marbles, it would snap on your finger. And so that's
Sure.
basically what this thing is you're going to be putting in a code, and if you put in the wrong code or whatever, then this thing will chomp. And it's a party game, rotating. I'm assuming there's more than just the one that they're showing right there.
Sure.
But we need some more horror party games, because all the horror multiplayer games are...
Asymmetrical.
Yeah, so this is nice to have this, because there's also another one. I want to say it's Machine Games or something. It's very Saw-like, very Mario Party-like, which is a bunch of mini games, but just with a horror twinge to them.
Yeah.
So I am very excited for Hands Over.
It sounds very. I mean, there's like because the description here is like one of the teeth is the wrong one. The results of pressing the wrong one are rather gruesome. So it is a lot of like guessing and gambling. It feels like a pared down to me version of like a Squid Game, where it's
Okay.
like this feels like a game that I like a type of game that I remember playing as a kid. In the same way that Squid Game is like, what if you play games from your childhood, but if you fail, you die.
Yeah.
This feels like taking one of those games and making it a video game. That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good work, Art Doc. I like the style of it as well. I mean, visual. It's kind of Team Fortressy.
You were saying that it does give me a lot of Team Fortress aesthetics.
So yeah, looking forward to Hands Over. What do we got here? Hellblade Studio Ninja. What a photo. Just a blurry close. Is it found footage? This is a found footage game?
Well, it's not anything now.
It's not anything. Oh, this is Mara. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hellblade, because I know that there was I can't pronounce her name.
Senwa?
Senwa?
Senwa.
Yeah, there was another Senwa thing, so I thought that
Yeah,
was related.
they announced a third Hellblade game, which is just called Senwa. So
Yep.
I don't know why, but this is not that. Because
Okay.
that is. I mean, you can make an argument that Hellblade is horror. It's a lot of like psychologically fucking with you.
I own it, and I'm like, I would love to try and
Sure.
stream it, but it's also a long game too. Explained that smaller teams at Ninja Theory worked on the first two Hellblades, but notes that the entire studio is working on Senwa. And if everyone is working on Senwa, nobody's working on Project Mara. So Project Mara is dead.
Something Matthews immediately addresses.
Mhm.
And with the fact that we have the entire team working on this game, I suspect some people might ask what's happened to Project Mara, a previously announced horror title. I took the decision to not work on that any further. Bummer.
Yep.
I mean,
There
good.
never
Like, I
is
mean,
a-
if they
well,
if they don't, yeah, if they're not feeling it, I think it's good, and especially if like they feel like they have the bandwidth to just drop it,
yeah.
as opposed to feeling like they need to push through it just because they've already invested money. Sunk cost fallacy.
No.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice rather than delay, cancel.
Sure.
So-
Yeah. Or just like leaving it in limbo. There was a Game Informer article a couple months ago in like their magazine that is like these are games that are seemingly dead that we haven't heard from in a long time. And one of those games is a game that's in this series of articles, The Lost Wild, the dinosaur game,
which we didn't get to see.
Which we didn't get to see at SGF,
So
which
sad.
is a bummer.
Yeah.
But I have friends who saw it, and we'll talk about that at a different time. But the Lost Wild was one of those that was like, just you didn't hear anything from it for years and years and years, and people were just kind of assuming at this point, oh, it's probably dead. So it's very exciting when those aren't actually dead, but it's also very nice to know when it is for real dead.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so they did it. Project Mara, no more. Goodbye, blurry teeth.
I feel like well, scroll up.
No, there's nothing.
That's
That's literally
okay.
it. That's why I was like, there's nothing more on this image than that. All right, and now we've got Halloween, the game's scary new story trailer. Shows Michael Myers finding his mask and knife. I'll go mute this one too, and we'll just have these play. There we go.
This is a thing that you and I have not in Damage Report, but in the general horror games and channel updates, or horror news and channel updates streams that we've done occasionally in place of James.
Yeah.
We've talked about the Halloween game, like they announced it as, it felt like when they announced it was single player forward, and then it was like, oh, but there's also a multiplayer, and then it seemed like the multiplayer was the focus, and maybe the single player was a smaller thing. And I've been very hopeful that we were going to be seeing more stuff like this that is emphasizing the story, because I'm really interested in playing a Halloween story game. Oh.
Yeah, Loomis. I mean, all the models look really good.
Yeah. It looks gorgeous, yeah.
But yeah, so I'm less inclined for the asymmetrical horror stuff. I'll always try it, but it just, it's fun for a little bit, and then okay, where's this going? So the thing that I loved about the Friday the 13th game is they eventually did add single player Jason missions in it, and you were able to kind of reenact specific kills, but you could do them in different ways if you needed to. And it was a little bit of a puzzle thing, like, okay, we got to distract him over here, get him over here, do this, and then get him murdered. So I'm excited to see this, where you will be taking over as the Shape.
Yeah. And it sounds like, I mean, it doesn't sound like it. It says it literally in front of me. The game story plays out through 6 chapters. So I'm curious if that's going to be all from Michael's perspective in like chapters that feel kind of like one continuous book, or if it's more of an anthology type deal within this world.
I feel like it's probably going to be 6 chapters that just cover the events of the first movie, where it just starts with him escaping. That's one chapter.
I guess,
the next one is he gets his mask.
He does get his mask in the first movie, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair.
So he's, he beats Jason in that respect. Yeah. Jason gets, part 3 is when he gets his mask. So we shall see how this goes, but I am glad that there is a single player that is part of it. And they have also announced the game is available starting today, June 6th.
Digital pre-orders.
Pre-orders. I was like, wait a minute, what? No. So you get standard edition for $40, deluxe edition for $60, and you get the Phantom Michael, which I don't think they have a photo of it right there, which actually looks pretty cool. Oh, yeah? It's got like a little ghostly. It's almost like Fortnite-y when they have the like galaxy that you can see inside the person. It's kind of like a swirling void inside of his character model. All right, so we're going to jump over to Silent Hill Townfall. Arrives in September. We're getting another Silent Hill game. So the last one came out last year.
Yeah.
Silent Hill F.
This article talks about it, where this is technically being presented as a spin-off game rather than like a full mainline game.
Well, that's what F was, right? It was a spin-off. It wasn't a mainline game.
I think F was technically mainline.
It doesn't follow the mainline story. Well, again, I did one playthrough of it as a Pink Bunny.
I mean, it's hard to identify, I think, what qualifies as mainline. Because if mainline just means like the characters from the original Silent Hill games, yeah, it's not that, but they don't seem to be doing
I guess it's just because it seems like this is another one where that was a different town in another country, and this is also, I want to say this is maybe Scottish, whereas this town is definitely in another country. So it's not like going to Silent Hill, whereas the first one you're going to Silent Hill, second one you go to Silent Hill, third one you go to Silent Hill.
That's fair.
Where this is, now Silent Hill is kind of a state of mind or can be other things. And so this feels like the international tour of
But
Silent Hill.
at the same time, if you take Silent Hill F as like Silent Hill can like, I guess it's hard to identify what qualifies as like a mainline game, because to me, especially with games, I'm like a mainline, if it is a full budget like AAA game that they're putting a bunch of time and resources into, I guess it feels different to me than like movies and TV, where I'm like, in a movie and TV, yeah, new characters, new spot, that's a spinoff.
What about Pokopia?
See, that's what I would say is a spinoff, where it's like it's different mechanics, it's different, it's like changing it. Whereas in games, I feel like if you are the same kind of like budget of like scale and budget of the typical game, and you are the same mechanics as the typical game, then that is not a spin-off. Like it's a spin-off in the sense of like yeah, Infamous Second Son isn't the same story as Infamous 1 and 2, but I also don't think of Infamous Second Son as a spin-off game. It's just a new Infamous with new characters.
Yeah. I just think of Resident Evil. Like, there's specifically mainline games, which are the numbered kind of entries, and then Revelations is its own thing.
But those also jump characters and styles. So, like, that's kind of my... Like, Resident Evil 7 is very different from Resident Evil, like, 4.
But that's a mainline.
That's what I'm saying. Is
I
like,
see what you're
saying. What I'm saying is, like, I think it's weird to identify...
Yes.
It feels like we're playing in a different sandbox in terms of what qualifies as a spin-off in video games than we are typically accustomed to talking about it in movies and TV.
Well, this one also is first person, right? You're distracting in first person gameplay. So it's getting that's a first for, I'm assuming, Silent Hill.
I think so.
Yeah.
To my knowledge.
Going the Resident Evil, Biohazard, and Village route. All right, let's pop on over to survive on an abandoned island full of dinosaurs in the lost wild. Yeah, I'm excited for this one. But yeah, like we said, we were at Summer Game Fest and we weren't able to get and see the demo of this. But as we wait for Jurassic Park Survival, which is a game that's supposedly coming out, this one seems very gory. From what I heard, is just someone said, yeah, you're just hanging out with this guy, and then he's just torn apart by an Allosaurus in front of you.
Not sure we're allowed to say that. Not sure we're allowed to say that. There are embargoes.
Okay. Is that not in the trailer?
I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't sign an NDA. I heard third hand.
That's true.
I did not sign an NDA on anything, and I just heard someone say that someone got eaten. I think it's okay that we assume someone got eaten.
That's true.
I won't say anything more.
Yeah, no, it seems very Jurassic Park. It's like there's obviously big differences here, in terms of like the setup is a big question mark of like how did we get to this place, but functionally you are seemingly in like a facility for dinosaurs.
What? They made a facility for like a resort or like a detox?
Maybe like a world.
Oh, some kind of world?
Some kind of world for dinosaurs.
But not like a park.
I mean, a land almost.
Oh, okay. We can do that. We can legally say that. We can say
Jurassic Land.
There it is, Jurassic Land. Yeah, lots of blood. And the thing now, I see so many more dinosaurs now are doing the feathers.
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like because everyone's just kind of started to know, and it almost feels like we're getting the actually, and they're trying to work around it where it's like, actually, did you know that dinosaurs actually had feathers? And we're like, yes.
Yeah, and they did it slightly in like Jurassic World.
Yeah.
But this one seems to differentiate itself. And that right there, the giant Quetzalcoatl, platypusal, I don't know, the one from Rebirth. But I just love seeing them walking on their little wings. It's always terrifying. So yeah. So it looks like you're in a car crash and you end up in some kind of Jurassic Land.
Yeah. I'm excited. It looks interesting. I think that we haven't, to my knowledge at least, had like a game that I think properly hits Jurassic Park. I was watching a video essay by Patrick Willems recently about like why are there not more dinosaur movies too? And I'm like, it is an interesting thing where I'm like, dinosaurs are so popular. So many people love them. The the Jurassic Park franchise does so goddamn well, even though, to the best of my knowledge, no one really likes most of those movies.
That's not true. Not most of them. People don't like Dominion.
People don't like Dominion. People didn't like Lost Kingdom. Jurassic World, people kind of liked.
They did when they first watched it, and then they went, "Oh, that's not a good movie." I think we're just saying the Jurassic World movies were not great.
But also, like,
I also enjoyed Rebirth.
But I also think that, like, coming off of the original trilogy of Jurassic Parks, I feel like there was a general sense of, like, these hit a point of diminishing returns.
Oh, yeah.
The point is simply, this isn't a franchise where I feel like they're super acclaimed constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And yet they do so well because we love them so much. And it is interesting that we don't have more, in the same way that, like, the MCU created superhero movies as a genre. It's interesting we don't have more studios trying for dinosaur
Well, we are
movies.
getting The End of Oak Street.
We are, which I'm excited for.
Which looks great.
But it's also been like 30 years since Jurassic Park came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's been many. The problem is they're not getting, you need a big budget. So
Yeah.
they're not going to greenlight a new property unless they've kind of guaranteed that it's going to.
But I think I mean, dinosaurs just seem like the safe option to be like, oh, we can do a new property. People like dinosaurs. We'll put the money into this. Which is all just to say, I find it interesting that we don't have like a ton of, especially on the horror end, which this seems to lean into.
We have
like,
Carnosaur.
We have Carnosaur. And then, like,
the 90s.
And we have like Turok, which is more
but
like
there's
action.
so many direct-to-video ones. Like, the direct-to-video market is flooded with dinosaur movies. There was that other one that came out that was, Primal War? Where it was Vietnam.
Yeah.
I watched it. It's not good. But I was just like, okay, this one, that was a weird one that did come out theatrically, but felt very direct-to-video. They tried something, doesn't work. There's dinosaurs in King Kong.
Sure.
And in Skull Island. And.
But my point is simply, like, I find it interesting that we have not utilized dinosaurs as fully in games and in movies as I would have expected us to. Especially, again, like, especially in, like, the modern horror age, it feels like with Alien, Isolation, and games like that, it feels like horror Jurassic Park game is obvious.
Yes.
Fortunately,
that franchise is still family-oriented slightly, so they can't go, like, hard.
But it's also the thing, I mean, it's essentially what this is doing is, like, dinosaurs are not IP. You can do what if Jurassic Park horror game without using the words Jurassic Park.
And so I'm hoping that this one turns out. And yes, everyone in the chat pointing out Velocipaster. We have Velocipaster.
We do have Velocipaster.
And we have Invisible Raptor as well.
How you do that?
That's how they get around that one.
Did I do that right? I did, like, the cross. Is that blasphemous for me to do that?
What?
I did, like...
Oh yeah, I don't know how to do it. I had to try and do it at a Serbian Orthodox church when I was like 8, and just did not understand it. And since then, I've never been able to do the sign of the cross. I think I had to film one thing where I was a priest and had to do it correctly, and I still don't think I did.
Is it when you married James to his earbuds?
I did not. No, this was for Vampires the Movie, a fake trailer I did.
I see.
All right, and then we've got people in chat were talking about this one.
Yeah.
Until Dawn is getting a numbered sequel. And you know what's great about this? I don't understand why it's Until Dawn.
I mean, I think there's one of two options here. I guess, I mean, okay, there's three things. One is, like, I think we said the same thing about the movie, where we're like, oh, it is kind of Until Dawn. So in a way, it seems like maybe they're trying to work off of that same framework of, like, Until Dawn is more of a vibe, a general, which I don't hate as a concept. I feel like I'd find that less weird if we didn't already have, like, the Dark Pictures anthology, which feels like it's already was kind of them being like, okay, what if everything's encapsulated now? And then they went, okay, but people don't like those as much. So now what if Until Dawn is encapsulating everything?
It looks very interesting. It's a full, like, island setting. The graphics look great.
That's not Chelsea in it.
That is not
I saw
Chelsea.
the Reddit
Everyone
Reddit
thinks,
posts.
Yeah, everyone in Reddit was like, that's Chelsea?
That's just a redhead, my guy.
Yeah. Is there any Chelsea photo in here? No.
That's
yeah.
pretty.
It's a beautiful looking game, but for me, I'm very interested to see. They did show Mr. Peter Stormare or Stormare, depending on.
He's the connective thread now.
So it seems that, but that's also the thread for the movie.
No,
too.
I know.
It
That's
was
what I'm saying.
Well, we got Peter,
No, that's what I'm saying. Is like that's the ongoing
and he's
connective
wonderful
thread.
to see. So maybe there's something there. I was really hoping because the thing was, Until Dawn, the remaster,
I'm familiar.
they teased a sequel,
Yes, I remember.
and
On
so
the kill count, we talked about it.
I'm curious if this.
Watch it.
Yep. Watch the Until Dawn kill count. I'm curious if this actually does connect and brings back, Hayden.
I feel like it must. I feel like it'd be crazy for them to do a remake. Because, like, if that tease was in the end of the first game, original release, I could see it being like, okay, we've decided to go a different direction.
Yeah.
Or, like, that was always just us kind of, like, laying a groundwork in case we felt like it.
Mm-hmm.
Surely this game was in development. It'd be crazy for them to do the remake, add her in, while knowing that they're making a sequel that doesn't involve her.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, but this is also not Supermassive, to point out.
That's a good point.
It is a completely different company.
Did Fire Sprite do the remake?
Ooh, I don't know.
Google
offhand.
it. Search.
Search. Searching.
Oh, you're searching over there.
Well, because I don't need it on the screen.
Oh.
Until.
If I had $1 for every horror franchise that brought back Hayden more than a decade later, true, Vicky.
That was Ballistic Moon.
Okay.
Yeah, that was Ballistic Moon. So it doesn't seem like it's the same.
But I'm sure that they're working in tandem. There's no way.
But Fire Sprite says that they will offer more details ahead of release. So this could be a very tease that doesn't fully connect to it. But one line in here says they will have to contend with ancient evils established in Until Dawn, and decisions will happen that put the fate of the cast in question. So does that mean Wendigos? Wendigos on an island?
Or it could be Wendigos. It could also be like something like that creates the Wendigos. Maybe like some kind of like occult or witchcraft kind of thing, where it is like the Wendigos are a stem from this, are a symptom of this, and then this is it's like Ready or Not 2, you know?
Okay.
Where you're like you have this family in Ready or Not 1 who swears fealty to Satan. And then now you have like the bigger. It's not exactly like that, I guess.
Yeah,
but you know what I mean.
But no, it's just there's a larger organization
Yeah.
to that, so it's just revealing the bigger thing there. So I'm on board to take a look at it, but I really want to see how this actually connects to Until Dawn, aside from just name and Peter Stormare.
Okay.
And now we've got Alien Isolation 2 is the official title of the sequel. Great.
Thank you, headline.
Unfortunately, I think in their trailer though they shortened it to AI too.
They do.
Like, don't do that. Not right now.
In the Summer Games Fest swag bag. I don't know if you looked through yours yet.
I got an amazing. Yeah, I wish I had
has-
right now. The Lament configuration Post-it notes,
Which is
the
cool.
coolest thing I got.
Technically, not the Lament configuration.
Oh, it's the Genesis.
It's the
configuration.
Genesis configuration.
You're right.
We'll get to Hellraiser. Oh no, we won't get to Hellraiser today. We talked about Hellraiser already.
We've talked about Hellraiser.
We'll get to
already.
Hellraiser.
This is the thing is we are about to also just do. I'm gonna say we're doing a podcast on Summer Game Fest, so we're kind of like, how much do we say now? How much do we say for the podcast?
Well, there's
so
also
we're just like, there's a lot.
There's also a thing of like most of what we saw at Summer Games Fest is embargoed until
Yes.
at least tomorrow, and then some things are embargoed until next week. So
we're being cautious.
I'm not
aside from my.
I don't think we're being cautious. I think we're doing what we were told to do.
Okay. I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm just saying words, Ben. Continue speaking about.
Point is simply
thing in the
we
swag bag.
will film the podcast and we'll talk about what we saw at Summer Games
we
Fest
actually got
proper.
to play some things.
Yeah, at Play Days. This is more talking about like the news that came out, which we did go to the actual Summer Games Fest showcase and see some of the things that were revealed here that everyone was able to see. My point was simply they gave us a Alien Isolation hat that does say AI2 on it, and I thought that was very silly.
But it does technically, as they pointed out in the chat, that AI2 could tease a more advanced version of the Xenomorphs AI.
That's
which
true.
it does have an AI built into it.
I think we're just reclaiming AI.
Okay.
Yeah. AI,
That's their
no, you say AI now. You're not thinking about generative AI. Fuck that shit. You're thinking about Alien Isolation, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. We can't talk more about it, but that is the official name. It is actually happening. And it's coming out at some point. Do they have a release date? No, there's no release date yet. But
No,
it'll be
yeah.
coming to all the things.
I'm very excited for this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We'll talk about
That
it
means we'll finally get that kill count out that I think many people in the chat watched me play through.
This was
all those years ago.
This was a lot of me, like the Games Fest showcase itself was a lot of me watching things get announced and going, okay, time that kill count to that. Okay,
Yep.
time that kill count to that. Okay, time get that kill count to that.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, once they get a release date and things, we'll start getting that Alien Isolation out around the time that game comes out, hopefully. Yeah. So then we've got Assassin's Creed creator reveals witchcraft action game 1666 Amsterdam. And there is a demo of the prologue available right now on Steam. I played it.
How'd you like it?
It's very interesting. It's weird. I mean, I can talk about this because it's out. So then it basically it's this cool little, area here. You're walking as this witch, and then you light all these fires, and then you pick in the tree. There's a bunch of cats, and you pick which ones you're familiar, which I think is like picking your class.
That's dope.
Because they all have different elements. Then suddenly it flashes forward to a woman in a library being like, I have this note and I can't read it. So you have to do this little library quest to reveal what this note says. And it turns out it's from your dad, who I think your mom is from this lineage of witches.
Sure.
And she's doing this ritual. And this guy, she's reading this note from her dad. And it's describing how basically her mom and him fucked. And then he turned into a cat.
Hell yeah.
And then transported back in time to be the cat that jumps out of the tree.
Oh.
That your lineage. So it's like this weird time messed up thing. And then the trailer is great because it looks like you're like flying on a broom around things. So, it seems like a very fun twist. It does definitely seem like the Assassin's Creed creator.
Style.
Yeah, it feels very Assassin's Creed in that nature that it seems like he's like, I want to do one in Amsterdam. And like, we're not doing one in Amsterdam. Well, I'm going to go take my game and make my own.
I wonder if also, because I don't off the top of my head know when he stopped being involved in Assassin's Creed.
That's true.
But like I know Assassin's Creed has pivoted more and more into like supernatural stuff, into like Assassin's Creed Origins leaned into some Egyptian mythology, and Odyssey leaned into some Greek mythology. So I'm curious if he was also getting kind of held back where he wanted to do, and like obviously like Assassin's Creed at its core has fantasy elements to it with like the.
But I always forget too that it is futuristic.
It's technically sci-fi. Yeah.
It's technically we're not in that time period. We're in a simulation of that time period.
And a lot of the magic stuff like the Apples of Eden are like technically sci-fi things because it's a past. It doesn't matter. The point is, I'm wondering also if he was just like, I really like Assassin's Creed as a concept, but I want to do a pure fantasy version of it. Which Assassin's Creed obviously like it doesn't allow for. I'm excited for this. I think witches rule.
I'm interested to see how the combat works with a broom. Like literally in the trailer, you see her fighting with a broom.
Did you get to fight with a broom in the game?
No, there was no combat in it.
Okay.
It was very much exploration, just story based. It was apparently the prologue beginning of the game.
Sure. I feel like I have like lingering guilt from my ancestors burning witches in the Salem witch trials, where I'm just like, I have to love you guys. I'm so sorry.
Have to. All right, and we'll get revenge on all of your ancestors. Maybe your ancestors are in this game.
Well, I mean, they're in the Crucible. I wouldn't be shocked if they pulled their name.
Boy. Oh. Goody,
keep an eye out for the Putnams. Let's see.
Here we go. Moving on over to Saw Genesis. Definitely saw some folks in the chat very excited about the new Saw game.
Yeah.
We finally got that revealed by Bloober Team.
We had a very roller coaster time in the SGF Showcase Theater going, holy shit, a Saw game? That's so exciting. Oh, World War I? That's funky. Oh, it's an asymmetrical multiplayer.
And then, yeah, and it's so, like, they don't announce it, too. If you watch the trailer, I don't even know if they might have it on the, nope, not on this page. But if you watch the trailer, it's literally just like little text on the like title card that's like 3v1 asymmetrical. I was like, oh, I was really hoping for some weird story at World War I Jigsaw. It is asymmetrical. Oh, and Ben's ancestors are in the Crucible.
Yeah, I said that.
Banana Milk is like, I missed that lore.
Don't worry, I can keep dropping ancestor lore, but it'll take time. Like every 6 months, I'll be like, also this thing. I'm related to a lot of people. I do have a family member in a video game. I have a family member in an Assassin's Creed game.
What?
Yeah. Israel
Franklin?
Putnam is like a general in Assassin's Creed 3.
There you go.
Yeah. He's not a direct ancestor, but we're related.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I'm related to John Adams and John Quincy Adams.
That's cool. Mm-hmm. Or not, depending on how your feelings about. I don't have strong feelings about them politically.
Or no, I don't know.
I don't know.
You know what? Let's just start going back through all the old presidents and see how we really felt about them, Ben. Let's change this damage report to that.
But yeah, Saw is asymmetrical. We saw
We saw gameplay.
we saw some
We
gameplay.
didn't play it.
We saw a presentation about it. We will have more to talk about that in the
Yes,
podcast. That'll be coming out
correct.
next week. Currently that's embargoed, so
Yeah,
can't say
so we
anything about
can't
that.
really say much more than what is in this article, which says, yeah, set in the aftermath of World War One. It centers around someone named the Judge, a precursor to Jigsaw.
Mm-hmm.
And you can customize your approach with perks and traps and then seek to control the match from the shadows.
I think it's really interesting that they're doing World War One.
Yeah.
Because I feel like my instinct looking at if I was like, oh, I'm going to make a game and I don't want to use Jigsaw,
Mhm.
but I want it to be within the Saw lore. I want to be freed from like any constraints about like the
'Cause
timelines and stuff.
Well, yeah, because it's so convolutedly tied together, all the films. that
Yeah.
You're like, you need to distance yourself so you're not like, and then this was happening at the same time this was happening and this. That's the problem with the Xbox game.
But I think my instinct would have been to make it like future set where I'd be like, oh,
You want Jigsaw in space?
not
I'm
not
on
in-
board for Jigsaw in space.
not in space, but like set it, I don't know, 40 years from now, 30 years from now, where you can have like a disciple of Jigsaw. I'm not saying that's what they should have done. I'm just saying like I think my natural instinct would have been to do that. And I think because in a lot of ways it frees you from the trap of like, okay, but it still needs to make sense that this is a precursor to Jigsaw. So I think it's very interesting that they've chosen to put themselves in a box to a degree where I don't mean that negatively. I just mean like, I think that they have chosen a harder path, and I'm very interested, and I'm sure that they know that and are being thoughtful about that. So I'm very interested to see how they follow that and how they work within the confines of like the established lore.
Hello, Soraya. Good to see you. I think they probably did it because it's set during the Industrial Revolution, and that's basically the aesthetic
That's fair. That's also
of Jigsaw. That like, oh, we could do this.
No
It
one
works
likes-
very well.
no one likes the fancy lasers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no one wants the cold laser bath. Yeah. That's right. That was in Jigsaw, right? The lasers
I think
that
so,
made
yeah.
the Demogorgon flower head.
Yeah.
Oh, fancy. I did make a Jigsaw in space short when I was making Saw parodies every single year that a Saw movie came out.
I feel like your lore is just you've parodied everything.
I made Saw 4 a year before Saw 4 came out, and that's where someone had to watch the Disney Channel for 10 minutes,
God,
and it
you're
killed
old.
them because it was too much. Yeah. So that's what this one's going to be about,
Yeah.
and it's Bloober Team who did the Silent Hill. Well, they're more publishing. There is a developer that I don't think is listed in here, but I do know that there is.
I think they're co-developing.
They're co-developing, but they're also still working on the Silent Hill
Yeah.
that they announced,
And another
the
game.
remake, and I think they're also doing the Chronos.
There's the Chronos DLC,
Yes.
but there's another game in this list of articles that is coming from Bloober Team.
Oh,
because
all
they're
right.
crazy.
Well, we'll talk about that. All right. We're gonna hop over to our last big article, which is the one that I
Oh, you missed one.
did. Which
You
I
did.
missed.
The one that I just referenced would be in this list of articles.
I
Then.
thought it was in the quick stuff.
No, it's after Alien Isolation 2. Right there.
Oh,
Right
look
there.
at that! You did.
I did.
I didn't miss it because I'm not a Trekkie.
Maybe that was the Amazon.
That might have been the Amazon one.
Yeah.
There you go. This is another thing the Bloober Team is working on. Star Trek Shadow Frontier, a new horror game set in the Star Trek universe.
Which when I heard I think the idea of Star Trek horror so distinctly never occurred to me.
No.
That when I heard that Bloober was working on a Star Trek game, I was like, oh, they're branching out from horror. And then I saw this article, I was like, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
It's Paramount Games, which also is a new game studio
Mhm.
that has been launched by that company. Star Trek Shadow Frontier, psychological horror game, launching next year. Michelle Forbes, who played the character in The Next Generation, returns to play the character in Shadow Frontier. Oh, what is her character's name?
I don't know.
It just says the character.
I don't.
Okay, so we have a returning actual character from Next Generation. I'm not and I don't know enough Star Trek lore.
Sure.
Are you?
I have only really like I've seen some of the original movies and like some episodes with my dad. The most invested in Star Trek I've been is recently with Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
Okay.
Which I like.
Which I hear is very good.
I really
actually.
love Strange New Worlds, and my understanding is that Strange New Worlds also hits a lot of the same like vibes and tones and like kind of ways it deals with story and ethics that the original Star Trek, like the popular like Star Trek: The Next Generation and the original Star Trek do, because I feel like that's what I've always heard about, and I've watched the like J.J. Abrams movies and
Yes.
stuff. But my understanding of Star Trek has always been that Star Trek is compared to Star Wars. Star Wars is the action franchise, and Star Trek is the philosophical franchise. And the J.J. Abrams movies kind of changed that.
Yeah, they Star Wars them.
They Star Wars them. But I really love how philosophical. It reminds me more of Doctor Who to a degree, where I'm like, it
Yeah.
feels more philosophical. It feels very like anthology, like high concept philosophical stories. And sometimes there is action. Don't get me wrong, but that is why this interests me a lot, because I think that a lot of the easy ways to approach Star Trek in video games, ways that have been done before, is third-person action game, which feels very much in the same breath as the J.J. Abrams movies, the actionification of Star Trek. So psychological horror, like, isn't necessarily the tone of Star Trek overall, but feels more in line with being, like, philosophical and, like, thoughtful, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it says, I was reading some of the bit here, is that it's Ro Laren, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, who's landed on a spaceship graveyard and has to explore the corrupted surface, crossing paths with other survivors, and she must face twisted creatures, a hostile ecosystem, and an entity that seeks to envelop her body and mind.
Star Trek Isolation.
Star Trek Isolation. We're on board for this. And Andrew 711 was asking what universe. I'm guessing it's the TNG universe, since she is playing the character from Next Generation.
Yeah. And we also had I mean, I guess technically speaking, like, both of those universes have the same characters, but it would be, I feel like it'd be weird to be like, this is the J.J. Abrams. I know there's also like,
well, how many universes have actually split off in there? Because I know the J.J. Abrams was specifically a
different
branching,
universe.
like, it was like,
if
this thing happened, it's a complete branch.
I think so.
I have not watched Discovery.
I know that Strange New Worlds and Discovery have like time shit, which I guess is also what J.J. Abrams has.
Yeah.
I don't think it fully branches, though. I think it is technically those all exist within the original Star Trek universe.
Okay.
But it's like when Doctor Who does horror stories. Yeah. And Mecha Shakes says we also had a VR Star Trek horror back in March. I didn't know that. I don't pay attention to VR games. Maybe I should pay more attention to VR games.
But we'll add them to the list if there's things for this.
Yeah.
The boys' Trigger Warning. That was a VR game. Watch me get killed in VR by Homelander. I used to do a lot more VR during the pandemic. That's when I got my Meta Quest, and I was just like, all right, great. I'm just going to do this and play Synth Riders.
I think I've done VR. I think VR has only ever really worked for me in like locations. Like I did VR at Comic-Con ages ago, where it was like put on VR headset and ride up the wall in Game of Thrones, and I was like, I was like, this is cool. Like that was a cool little experience. And I did VR. They had like a VR space outside of Disneyland in downtown Disney for a little while, where like you put on the headset and then you're going through like Star Wars stuff. And I was like, this is neat. Anytime I'm at home, I'm like, my house doesn't have the space for me to do this.
Yeah, you definitely need the space to
Yeah.
be able to do that without hitting things or people. But yeah, Bloober Team making so much stuff.
It's great. No, I had multiple conversations at SGF this weekend with people where I'm just like, how many teams does Bloober have? At least 3, I think.
I don't know. I just feel like they've got to be working with, and that's why I think the Saul one is definitely a different developer, and they are more publishing guiding on that, because they cannot be developing every single one of these things. All right, diving over from that one to
Your favorite story.
my favorite story. Resident Evil Veronica is a Code Veronica remake, and it launches next year. I knew that they were going to say something.
You called it so fast.
Well, I was just like, there's no way they're not announcing this. It's going to happen. There were rumors, of course, that Resident Evil 0 was going to be the next one, or the original Resident Evil is going to be a remake. And so they started the show with this trailer that's been released of just you're in France and there's this nice old woman that you open a door for. And I'm just like, is this Resident Evil Baguette? I'm on board for this. Because I don't remember Code Veronica happening in France. But it's been so long since I played it that I was
No,
like,
I've heard
oh.
other people saying the same thing.
Okay,
So I
that's
don't.
not-
I think you're right that that's a new addition, unless they also are just
Yeah,
not
because this is like
remembering.
a whole new opening to the game. So they're definitely going to be changing the story a lot in this. Because the original opening, which I always remember from Code Veronica, is basically Claire running from a helicopter, like shooting the glass around, and then she's like puts her hands up with a bunch of guards, and she sees a flammable container, and she drops her gun, and in slow motion it just falls, and then she falls to the ground, grabs it, shoots the thing, boom, and I'm like, this is the greatest opening to a video game I've ever played. Thank you, Dreamcast.
Adam Espersona. Is that what it says? You're closer
Yes.
than I am. Cool.
Yes.
SGF last year ended with Requiem, and then it began this year with the game that needed a remake the most, Veronica. What a power play from Capcom.
They did
Yeah,
good.
Capcom's on like a ungodly roll right now.
Mhm.
It's crazy how well that studio's doing.
But they put a lot of care into these Resident Evil
Mm-hmm.
games, whether you agree with that on Resident Evil 3 Remake or not. But yeah, Resident Evil's their bread and butter. They knocked it out of the park with Requiem, and so keep going. And the nice thing is, I do like that they're doing these remakes. Normally, I'm against remakes, like Disney live action remakes and all kinds of
Sure.
things. That this one, I'm like, no, you're updating these, and you're kind of allowing this story to be playable in a very consistent kind of way, which is very exciting.
Video games are weird where like it's twofold where it's like on one hand there's just the element of archiving. Like, you know, because games are so often tied to their specific platform, like you will lose access to so
Yeah.
many games like as lost media essentially or
Mhm.
like hard to come by. So it's cool to bring them back in that sense. And then I know we hit more, and like I know every time you do a kill count, there's the comments that are like, oh, you're covering the remake, not the original.
Mhm.
And it's a weird middle ground where I'm like, on one hand, part of me is like, again, for the sake of archiving it, you should be able to experience a game the way it was.
That's fair.
And yet at the same time, like, I don't know. It's a hard balance to strike between like quality of life improvements where it's like, no, this is valuable, and just sanitizing the purpose. Because I've seen some people talk about like Resident Evil 4, where they're like, oh, when they remake Resident Evil 4, they will almost certainly make the tank mechanics better, like easier.
I mean, there were no tank mechanics in
Was it not? I
RE4.
thought it was in RE. Was it in RE? I haven't played the Resident Evil games, guys.
Tank mechanics left with Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 is the first one that did the more action
Okay.
movement. There was definitely tank mechanics in Veronica. But yeah, no, they removed those tank mechanics. But
'Cause
they're
I'm-
still in the Resident Evil remake for GameCube, still tank controls.
That's okay. Because I'm like, at what point is it the intent of the game design, and at what point is it just like adjusting it for the age, where it's like, oh
I
no,
say it, like a limitation of the time of like we couldn't do the multicam.
yeah, but like
dual
that.
stick thing because you didn't have the.
Well, no,
sticks
but that's not
originally.
what I mean by tank controls though, because didn't they have like you can't shoot and move at the same time?
That was one, and then they adjusted that.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, and then they added a dodge mechanic in part 3 that was not in previous ones.
Okay.
But then they kept that. I think for the remake, you could dodge in that, but you couldn't dodge in part 2 for the remake. So they've kept some consistencies with that. I mean, doing a remake is it's a balancing act. But
Yeah.
these are such story-rich games, and they're so woven together
Yeah.
that it's great that we have this ability to do this. And they're also then trying to fix some story things that maybe didn't make sense between years and years of like, well, that didn't make sense. Let's try and create a streamlined story for everything. I'm most interested to see what Chris is going to look like, because Chris showed up in Resident Evil 7, looked like just like a skinny standard dude, and then suddenly he was in 8 and he was like buff, boulder punching Chris with a beard and a black coat. And so I'm like, I don't know what Chris is going to look like in this remake.
Soraya, cool. Sorry, I can read like the actual things you guys comment. I can read pretty clearly because it's like white text on black. but your names are in a gray on
Nah.
black, and I'm just far enough away that it's kind of hard for me to read it. Since Code Veronica takes place in 2000 or 1998, 1999 after RE2, they're guessing that Chris will not be a punching Boulder
No,
buff.
he would not be punching Boulder. But I'm also curious just how because, well, 7 and 8 are fairly close together, but man, Chris is a completely different character model between those two. So
I play horror indie games. I'm so unexposed to so much of this. I want to. I need to get into these. I keep buying them. I keep having them set on my PS5 and I'm like, I'll play this.
they're really good, man.
Yeah, I've heard.
They're really
I
good.
believe you. There's just so many video games.
There are so many video games, and Resident Evil is one that I will always play no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So Code Veronica started the show, fantastic, and I will say when I watched that trailer, we see the thing. It's like, your brother's really weird, and I'm like, oh, I think I might know what this is. And then we get there, and she's like, the old woman says, it's like a boulder rolled through here. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
this
no,
is...
you locked in.
I was like, yes, this is Resident Evil.
Yeah.
I'm on board. But I at first actually thought it was just the DLC, because they said there is a story-based DLC coming for Requiem.
Yeah.
Which they have not said anything about. But I'm on board for Veronica. This is the one that got me into Resident Evil on my Dreamcast.
I think it's interesting that they've also removed code from it.
They are doing all of their names are now doing that with. I guess they're bringing it in line with Resident Evil Biohazard, Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil Requiem. So they're just putting it in line with that, I guess.
Code Veronica, I think also, I don't know why it. I mean, speaking of spin-offs, Code Veronica gives me this just the wording of it makes me think of the game as like a spin-off in the sense of like a small little story that is not the full scope of a mainline Resident Evil game.
Well, it's not part of the mainline Resident Evil games.
But is Veronica the same scope as a normal Resident Evil?
It is.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, I'm saying it is, but it is definitely labeled as a.
But my point is
separate.
I feel like maybe they aren't thinking about it the same way I am.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, to me, the phrasing Code Veronica, I don't know, it just reminds me of other games that do like small spin-offs, like Infamous Second Light is a.
But that's DLC for.
But it's not. You can buy it separate
for Second Son. Well, it's a special thing that is. It is labeled as a DLC.
Sure, but I'm just saying.
Standalone.
I'm just saying it kind of gives me that vibe of like a standalone DLC kind of vibe. And Veronica does not read just taking code out of it makes it not read that way to me mentally. So I'm wondering if that's something that they noticed. If I'm crazy, or if that is a consistent thing of people being like, Code Veronica just does not register to them as like the same scale of Resident Evil game. Why are you looking up Kamen Rider?
Because someone super chatted, look it up. I'll bring it up, but I don't know what this is.
I mean, Kamen Rider is what Power Rangers is based on.
There it is. I have Googled that. I don't know what this is.
So, are you?
It definitely looks like the Pink Ranger.
Are you familiar with the lore of Power Rangers?
The lore of Power Rangers?
Yeah.
The show?
the external lore, like how it came to be.
No, I do not know the external lore. I know the internal lore.
Kamen Rider was a Japanese series, and the way Power Rangers was made is they took the scenes from Kamen Rider of people in the suits fighting monsters, and then filmed new scenes of the American teenagers. So all the action
and then
scenes,
they just dubbed them and
all the action scenes, the monsters, the suits are Kamen Rider scenes. That is what Power Rangers is.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. I don't know why you wanted me to Google that, Andrew, but we did. All right. That's going to hop us over to some... We'll go back to full screen for this. We've got just some quick hits.
We're trying to move faster.
We're trying to move faster. Trying to keep this around an hour. We're pretty close right now, so that's good. We have, as we mentioned, Bloober Team, of course, doing another thing. They're doing Chronos, the New Dawn story DLC called Chronos Lazarus. I never got to finish that. We did do the one playthrough of it on stream, and I love the cats. Oh. I remember being fully distracted by a cat, and like, I'm gonna go catch that cat, and you can catch them, and then you get their names and their little collectibles. I remember
Super Sentai? Fuck.
What is it?
Fine. Sorry. Super Sentai was. Kamen Rider is not? Okay. Well.
Oh, no. Ben was our expert.
That's fine. I knew the concept.
You did know
I got the shows wrong. I'm sorry.
Don't be offended. It's okay. Just take that information.
I am.
Inside you.
I'm just
and then you get really sad that you should have known.
I'm not gonna do that.
Get really
That
sad.
seems unnecessary.
Get really sad, Ben.
No.
Come on
I
stream.
I have plenty of other things to feel anxious about. I don't need to feel anxious that I said Kamen Rider instead of Super Sentai.
Oh, awesome! Yes, we saved the cats.
Michael says unfreeze chat.
I will try. It doesn't work.
I'll read the other stuff. Castlevania Belmont's Curse launches this October. Gameplay trailer was released. Yeah, that was also shown off.
Oh, there is another Castlevania?
Yeah, new Castlevania, Belmont's Curse. I saw the trailer. I think they showed it off at the Xbox showcase. But it looks good. It looks like Castlevania. I mean, Castlevania, like, again, it's the same thing. Like, we've talked about this before, where I'm like, I threw it in because vampires.
Yeah.
Do I think of Castlevania as outright a horror game? Not really, but like, genre's fake.
It's very true. Genre is fake, and yes, it's vampires. So
Yeah,
we'll
vampires.
go with there's horror elements to
I-
anything vampires.
I will adopt anything under the umbrella of horror that I can take.
Great. Take it all.
The brutal first-person horror game Ill got a new story trailer. It's gross.
Yep.
So if you're interested in Ill and want to check out that trailer, go for it.
I need to look up if that is the game that was designed by or based on the art by the guy who did Stork in VHS.
Maybe.
You remember VHS?
No, it took me a second. I'm gonna be so honest. You said Stork, and I heard Spork, and I was picturing Michael, who does not go by Spork anymore,
That's right.
Um,
Except in chat.
except in chat. Little Nightmares 3, the Backstage DLC, launches next week on consoles and PC. Next week being June 12th, which is actually this week, but this article that I pulled this information from is from last week. Why am I talking in this voice? I don't know.
This is Ben's damage report voice from this point forward.
Escape the Backrooms now available on Xbox and PS5. And a demo is now available for Resident Evil Requiem. If people have not played the game yet, they can get a demo and try it out. It's on PC and on consoles. However, save data cannot be transferred from the demo to the game.
What?
So you will have to replay that section when you get the game.
No. I'm so sorry. I can't find that information. So it'll just live in the ether for right now.
What's the point of you?
That's a great question. My wife asks me that every day. Anyway, what's happening on Dead Meat this week?
Yeah, you have a Dead by Daylight live stream.
Yes,
on
I'm locking down the time. It's actually probably going to be a later stream, so apologies to those who don't like my later streams. But I am going to be doing Dead by Daylight. We did Hooked on You.
Yeah.
I was like, Hooked on a Feeling? No, we did not do that.
Nerd.
Hooked on You last week with Addison, and we dated the crap out of some Dead by Daylight killers. That was super fun, and we're continuing to celebrate the 10th anniversary of Dead by Daylight, which is June 14th, I believe.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Which we will actually both be going.
It's the 13th or it's the 14th, but I'm pretty sure it's the 14th.
I think it's the 14th.
Yeah.
I think that's their live stream, like, big event. Like, they're going to be announcing all kinds of crazy things for the game. We've obviously got Jason as the big news coming out for Dead by Daylight, but they've got plenty more things coming out for the celebration of their 10th anniversary. So we're going to be up there in Montreal.
Yeah.
Never been to Montreal before. I'm very excited for that.
I've only left this country once, and I was 8, and it was Mexico, and I already live so close to Mexico.
And I was kidnapped. I wasn't meant to leave the country.
I'm returning to the land of my people.
Great.
Yeah.
The Putnams.
No, God no. Those were fucking Americans.
Yeah. So we're gonna do a live stream. I'm hoping it's gonna be around 5 p.m. But I'm just solidifying that we're actually gonna get some other guests on the stream there. We're gonna have Autumn Ivy and Katie Adkins and Damien Haas.
Oh.
Yes, all these glorious folks will hopefully be joining if I can make sure that everything lines up schedule-wise. So that's what I'll be doing after this to figure out when we can actually get that going. But tune in on Thursday. We'll have an exact time for you posted on all of our socials. So make sure you follow deadmeat.games on Instagram and TikTok, deadmeat_games on Twitter, and Dead Meat Games on Blue Sky. I think I remembered all those.
I think you did.
Yeah. Sorry that there's so many. Some person bought a bunch of them on random platforms, so we had to try.
Bought.
Or Sorry, reserved.
Yeah.
Reserved.
It's delightful when you try to establish a brand identity and you're like, oh, these are all taken because Dead Meat has been because Dead Meat's been an active name.
Yep.
People also just because like it's a phrase people have. Yeah. M. Davis, I'm not Canadian, but most of my dad's side of the family is from Canada.
And Janie B 310 had a super chat saying, "Not horror, but Deltarune Channel 5, June
Chapter
24th.
5.
Chapter 5. That makes more sense than Channel 5. I see CH, and I'm going to see the little channel in the corner of the screen.
That's so interesting.
That's what I see.
That's
CH
never
is
occurred
channel.
to me.
Yeah.
Huh.
CHP would be chapter for me. Delta June.
What? Oh, I see.
Just saying.
I know. I understood. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
you understood.
Yeah, I got that.
And then this guy over here
Hello.
is not going to be here for our next damage report.
That is true. We've done exactly 2 of these, and I'm immediately bailing on you. I need a break.
Yeah, no, he doesn't want to be around me anymore.
no.
It's fine. That's why I brought him in person for this one, just so I could go, hi, friend. I'll pet you.
Okay.
Again, we don't have an HR department at Dead Meat, so...
I'm the HR department.
Oklahoma. Okay, that is going to wrap up our Dead Meat games report, the damage report. We will be back in 2 weeks with just me.
Yeah, I'll be in Italy.
He's going to be in Italy,
Yeah.
and then after that, I'll be gone.
Yeah, you'll be in Italy.
So I'll be in Montenegro.
Does that mean I run
officiating my brother's wedding?
Does that mean I run the next one by myself?
Yeah, you're gonna run the next one by yourself. So
Wonder
we're
if I
gonna
can get
be.
a friend to join me.
You can get a friend to join you, and then people will be like, "That's the best performing damage report we've done. Maybe we don't need Zoran around in his little Mario Hawaiian shirt." All right, thank you all for being here and discussing all the amazing. We got so much good horror game stuff coming, and I'm so pumped. And now we're gonna talk about Summer Game Fest on a podcast, which we will release next week. So make sure to tune in for that so we can talk about all the things that we're not allowed to talk about right now.
You didn't hear nothing.
You heard nothing. All right. We'll see you next time
Bye.
on the Damage Report. Bye. Nice.
Okay.